So before I get started, I want to let y'all know why I haven't uploaded in now over 4 months. The reason is I've just been working on a lot of music during this quarantine bullshit, and I simply just haven't had time to sit down and make another video. And I don't want to give myself a whole schedule and try to stick by it, because I know like it's not going to work out that well. So whenever I feel like making a new video, I'm just going to do it. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into the video. So as you can tell by the title, this is a part 1 to the concerts I've been to. As of June 2020 right now, I've only been to 7, and in this video I'm going to cover the first 3 I went to. So the first concert I ever went to, and I know I'm going to get shit for this, was 6ix9ine. Now before everyone in the comments starts calling me a snitch and oh you support a rat, this was only a couple months after Gummo came out, so he realistically only had 3 songs. He had Gummo,
niggas envy us, Blicky got the stiffy.
He had Kuda,
Mom go outside, we gon' show what we about.
And he had Kiki.
Whip a straight drop on the regular.
And here's a fun fact about this concert. This was a few days before Billy came out. Insert here.
6ix9ine this and 6ix9ine that.
And he played it at the concert, so technically we were the first group of people to actually hear the song before it came out. But anyways, I'm gonna start from the beginning. So I believe doors opened at 6:30. I stood in line for a good 3.5 hours before I was even in the building, and 6ix9ine himself took about 2.5 hours before he actually came out. And the DJ on stage was trying to stall and like, alright, we're gonna turn up so 6ix9ine can hear us. We all knew he was full of shit. So anyways, I'm sitting in the crowd for 2.5 hours like, yo, where the fuck is this dude at? Like, is he running late? Did something happen? What the fuck? And I should also mention that when I was getting closer to the door to go in, there was a gang of police cars. There must have been at least like 16 police cars out front. So he comes out to Kuda and everyone's going crazy and shit, and he's all, yo, this is my first time in Arizona, make some noise. Everybody's going crazy, chanting 6ix9ine, 6ix9ine, all that, right? And you know, he does his set list, and like I mentioned, he only had 3 big songs out at this point. And what's funny about all of this is the fact that he did each song 3 or 4 times to stretch out his set list as long as possible. So we did Kuda, Kiki, Billy, and Gummo like 3 or 4 times each, over and over, so we could stretch it out. The only other memorable thing that happened at this concert is when he did Gummo the first time, he got in the mosh pit, and I guess at some point someone tried to snatch his chain, because I see him scurry back on stage, and no joke, security jumped in the crowd like it was a fucking crowd surfing moment.
But when you grab my chain and say, yo, give me a chain, like, what you mean give you a chain, you know what I'm saying? Fuck that shit, man. Drop that shit.
Niggas envy us, Blicky got the stiffy up. Got Blicky up.
Besides that, nothing else really memorable happened other than me waiting in line for so long, him taking forever to come out, and his chain almost getting snatched. That's pretty much it. Looking back on this concert compared to other ones I've been to since then, this was probably the worst one. I would say, oh, this was a waste of time and whatever, but it was only $25 for the ticket, so I didn't complain. So now that that's done, let's move on to the next concert.
Alright, they don't like this next one. I got a question.
So regardless if anybody wanted to go with me or not, I was going no matter what. And it just so happened that 2 of my friends ended up going along with me. So we get to the venue and I ended up sneaking my wax pin in and I almost got caught for it. Well, technically I did get caught. She was patting me down and I had my wax pen in the other hand and she goes, oh, there's no vapes allowed inside. And I was like, what? Because I didn't really hear her at first, but I knew she was busting me. And she goes, oh, you can bring it inside just as long as you don't use it. You have to come outside to use it. I'm like, oh, okay, I will. And I ended up walking in the venue with my friends and they thought I got busted. They're like, yo, what'd she tell you? And I told them and they're like, oh my god, that's pretty cool. So I ended up sneaking it in and then we got in and Ski Mask took a fat minute to come out. There was a lot of opening acts. There was straight up like 4 or 5 opening acts and Danny Towers was one of them. Now, I saw Ski Mask 2 times. This was the first one. And man, I gotta say, this concert was fucking insane. The venue was pretty decent sized. It was a pretty goddamn big venue. Everybody just crammed in there. Everyone was like shoulder to shoulder. It was really fucking crowded. And I just remember each act that came out, like each different one, it got crazier and crazier. And then when Ski Mask came out, all bets were off. This dude came out and I literally could not fucking move. I was getting jolted around everywhere. I could not move at all. And I ended up almost losing the 2 people I was with. So about halfway through Ski's set, they ended ended up having to leave. They're like, oh, my ride's here, I'm sorry, I gotta go. So we kept doing his songs, and the next thing I remember, when Take a Step Back came on, it got fucking wild. And let me tell you, if you've never been to a concert, drink lots of water, sneak water in, or take breaks, because seriously, it is not worth getting dehydrated. I ended up getting really fucking hurt. I got elbowed in the ribs, and I was super dehydrated and just exhausted. I ended up almost passing out in the mosh pit. So right after he finished Take a Step Back, I shoved everybody out of the way. I wasn't even saying excuse me. I was just like, move, get the fuck out of my way, move. Just shoving everybody out of my way. And I ended up going back to the faucets, and there was like a line like just as big as the fucking venue when I waited in line. So I get up to the faucet, and I ended up just slurping it for like 3 minutes straight. And I could tell the people behind me waiting were getting annoyed, but I did not give a fuck. I'm like, hey, me over you, I don't give a fuck. As soon as we get in, we're standing there, and I get a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it's like this like weird group of like gay hippies. I don't mean to use that in a bad way, but I could tell that they were gay. And I guess like the leader in the group goes, hey, can we hit your wax pen? And I look back at my friends, and I look at him, I go, fuck no. And he just goes, oh, okay, whatever. Let's get out of here, gang, and walked away. They were like 30-year-olds, man. Like, I wasn't about to let them hit my fucking pen, like random-ass people. And they were already all sweaty and shit. I'm like, fuck no, you ain't hitting my pen. And then they just got butt hurt and left. So I remember I left as soon as he started playing Catch Me Outside, which was the last song. I remember getting in the car, and the next day, I was so fucking, like, exhausted. And I was also still super dehydrated. Now let's move on to the final concert I'm going to be talking about. This was actually the same venue as the Ski Mask concert I just talked about. It was called the Van Buren in Phoenix. I got there 3 fucking hours early, way before doors opened or anything, and the line was already looping on the other side of the building. I was like, what the fuck? People went all out for this concert. People were there literally like 16 hours before doors even opened, like crazy shit. So I got there, and then my friend Jacob cut in line with me, and then my other friend Anthony and his group of friends were up a little bit, so I got to cut in line with them. We were in line for a good 4 hours, or at least close to 4 hours, and I'm not even joking, an hour into waiting, I had to pee, so I had to hold it all the way until we got in the building. Oh, and fun fact, the kid I mentioned, Anthony, that we got to cut in line with, is the same Anthony that took a shit on the playground. He suggested, he's like, dude, why don't you go pee behind a building? I'm like, where, dude? There's literally a crowd in front of us, like they're just gonna see me pee no matter where I go. And he's like, oh, true, yeah. So after waiting almost 4 hours, we finally get in the building, and I go to the bathroom and unleash the Hoover Dam, which was pretty refreshing. So I finally get out of the bathroom, and I meet up with Jacob, Anthony, and his group of friends, and we cram into the crowd. And let me tell you, it started to fill up unbelievably fast. Within like 20 minutes, it was already like tripled how many people were in the building. I was like, oh, damn, this is gonna be hectic. So finally, after an hour of waiting in the crowd, their DJ Crystal Meth, shout out to him, he came out and he started playing hype songs. And I'll never forget this. I see Anthony like a little bit in front of me, and he's like facing towards me with his back to the stage. Within 10 seconds, I just see him get carried away, and he's gone, and I don't see him for the rest of the night. He told me a few days after the concert his glasses got stepped on and they broke, and he had to pick them up and take them and leave the mosh pit. So finally Suicideboys came out, and it was like the end of the fucking world. Like everybody was just it was like a massacre just happened. They actually performed for a really long time. Their set list was probably like an hour and a half. So about a half an hour into their set, I got like really close to the front. I was like 2 people behind the rail. The highlight of this concert was this video I got here of Ruby, who came right next to me on the side of the stage. Because Scrim for the most part was on our side, but he wasn't like super close. Ruby was like right in front of me. So like I said, they performed for like an hour and a half. They did all like brand new songs, because this was like a month and a half, almost 2 months after I Wanna Die in New Orleans came out. The only complaints that I had about songs they didn't do Running Through the Seventh with My Woadies, and they didn't do LTE or Gloss of Blood, which sucked. But anyways, yeah, if you just want to go to a mosh pit hardcore, like you're gonna fuck shit up, go to a Suicideboys show. You don't even have to be a fan, I'm telling you. You can just go. Like, it's fun regardless if you don't know one song song or you know all of them. The last thing I should mention was I got in the car, could not hear for like 3 days straight. And I still think to this day my ears have never fully recovered because I was obviously in the front. I was right in front of that speaker. Yeah, my parents got pissed because I didn't go to school the next day after I told them, oh, I'll go to school the next day. And I ended up not going, but I told my dad, I'm like, you want me to go to school and learn? I can't hear. I went to school 2 days after, and funny thing is, in my 6-hour, my last hour class, they knew I was going to the concert. So when I didn't go to school the next day, they're like, oh, we thought something happened to you. Dude, I can't fucking hear. Yes, something did happen. And that about wraps up the concert video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what concerts you've been to down in the comments below. And let me know, hell, maybe you guys have even been to the same shows I went to.
I'm Tristan. I edited this. My channel's below.
I will in time eventually be doing a part 2 to this, so stay tuned for that. This has been Jake, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.